I have a large house. My boyfriend moved in 4 months prior lockdown. When Corona started, he asked me whether his friend, A, and his girlfriend, S, could move in because they lost their jobs and weren't able to afford their flat. I said sure, but had a convo with them personally to agree on some rules, aka respecting my dog and cats, not taking my things without asking first, etc. They moved in March and we'd had two main incidents. First, I asked me to prepare fruitarian food, which I told her no as, 1, I study and work hence no time for cooking. Twice, 2, they were home all the time hence arseloads of time for cooking. 3, I had an eating disorder and definitely would not go into I eat only fruit and vegetables mode. Second, when I refused to do their laundry. Reasons as mentioned above, minus the eating disorder. I threw a scene every time, but like not telling me anything. Instead she complained to her boyfriend who complained to my boyfriend. And the story was much juicier each time. They also did some kinds of revenge thingies like accidentally, you wish, broke my plates, or forgot where they put my 1940 edition of Faust, would you look at that in their room. They threw my cats outside and let them there when me and my boyfriend were away. Something I found out only as I give my teen doggo a GoPro camera every time he's home alone. He once pooped behind me bookshelf and I found it 2 months later. And I'm also making some cringe video of his life. They also made mess to demonstrate their point of view. I took pics whenever they did something like that, as you know, the daughter of a lawyer. And told them, if they're planned on continuing the charade, they may as well move out. It stopped. In April, a couple of my friends, K and N, who are gay for each other, got kicked out of their flat as their landlord increased the rent without telling them. K still studies and N lost his job. I offered them to move in as K's family refuses to acknowledge their son's sexuality and N's parents live in a tiny flat. And S were lukewarm, obviously not thrilled by sharing house with gay men, but they avoided each other. Then A found out I made a cake for K's birthday and lost it. Apparently me refusing to cook her some special diet meals cut deeper than I expected. She also called N and K idiots. Then S stepped in, also calling them names. Oh lord, how I do hate this kind of people almost as my dog hates vet visits and have been friends with N for 10 years. So, naturally, I told them they have 2 days to pack and go. My boyfriend tried to smoothen the tension, but it didn't help. When they were still there, I got angry, which seemed to work as they had never seen me like that. And finally they moved out. Good. Well, since that S has been spamming my boyfriend telling him how cruel I was, etc. And, behold, my boyfriend agrees. Saying I was a bit hysterical and it was unfair to let them be homeless. I don't think so, but yeah, could use some help now. Not the idiot. So very wonderful on you, not only opening up to the friends who deal with idiot landlords. And K's family are very much the idiot, but you're a good decent human who put up with more than you should have. And I'm cringing at them even looking at your Faust. Oh my god. If boyfriend doesn't like it, remind him where the door is and whose house it is and what they did when you were being a generous person. Cooking separate meals every single day is not the same as baking a birthday cake once. Your freeloaders are awful. They do not have human decency and wanted you to mom them while staying there. They weren't even paying rent, they should have been grateful. I'd wonder what kind of people your boyfriend is friends with. How did he even react when his friends demanded from you that you cook and do their laundry for them? They sound like the most toxic people on earth. Your boyfriend is also the idiot for actually trying to defend them to you and for arguing they should still live with you. What the hell? The fact that he allowed them to behave like that for months was bad enough. What a couple of ungrateful and self-righteous people. I would be cooking, cleaning and grooming your pets on the daily if I were squatting in your place rent-free. I think you should have a frank discussion with your boyfriend about his viewpoints on this matter. It's not about dividing friendships. If he seriously thinks you're in the wrong for this, you should reevaluate your relationship with this man that cannot differentiate right from wrong. His friends are not only ungrateful, but needlessly and shamelessly vindictive, which is a recipe for disaster down the line. My mom is 80. My daughter has 2 kids, 3 and 1. My mom is still able to walk, drive, take care of herself, etc., but she's not in great health. She can't play, bend down easily, or do anything outside of the bare minimum. And the bare minimum is really hard on her. I've had some time off, so I've been coming by to hang out with my mom. I've been telling my daughter that my mom is getting old and she shouldn't be watching the kids, but my daughter said it's only occasionally when she has to work and has no other option. Come to find out, my mom watches them every day Monday Friday from 8 to 4:30. She knows she can't do it, but she feels bad and doesn't want to tell my daughter no. I called my daughter and told her that she needs to find other childcare and my mom cannot physically watch her kids anymore. She said that's not an option because she has to work. We went back and forth. She threw it in my face that my mom watched her and my son when they were kids and how it's hypocritical of me to demand she not use grandma for childcare when I did the same thing. Well, that's true, my mom was 25 years younger then. It would be one thing to ask me her mom to watch them, I can't because I work, but asking grandma is too much. By God, your 80-year-old mom is watching 2 toddlers. And at least one, possibly both of them are still in diapers. I could see maybe half a day, but an entire 8.5-hour day. That's an over 40-hour work week and I feel that, if your mom was trying to get a job, she would be deemed ineligible. Your daughter should be ashamed of herself, taking advantage of your mom's good nature like that. It's hard work with one, let alone 2 small children. Your daughter needs to work out some other arrangement. There is no way that their 80-year-old, clearly overwhelmed great-grandmother is providing safe and stimulating care for 2 toddlers. She can't be expected to keep up with the constant childproofing, prepare nutritious, varied meals, potty train the older one, read to them, keep them clean, lift them over and over. A 3-year-old can be hefty and take them to medical appointments. I promise that mom will find them a better situation if this reality is made clear to her. There are federal and state programs. When I was 3, my parents got divorced. My dad was an idiot and my mom couldn't support us on her own, so we all moved in with my grandparents. They literally helped raise us from when I was 3 years old until I was 12. My other set of grandparents lived down the street and helped a lot. I had a great childhood with my large extended family. Now I have kids of my own and my grandparents are in their 80s and 90s. I cannot imagine leaving any of them alone with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. That's just insane. My paternal grandmother is very healthy and active for her age, but good God. We're talking about toddlers. This isn't safe for your mother and for the children. So, for the last few generations in my family, the firstborn son in each generation is given the same name, let's say John Jacob Doe for anonymity's sake, because this name is linked to an ancestor of ours who served in the Civil War and is considered to be the patriarch of the family. In my generation of the family, the bearer of this name would be known as John Jacob Doe VI. My dad was J.J. Doe V, Grandpa was J.J. Doe IV, and so on and so forth. Dad had 3 children, and when his first child, my older sibling, was born, he named him J.J. Doe VI. If I'm being vague about gender, it's because my older sibling came out as transgender several years ago. Reactions has been mixed, but for the most part our immediate family supports my older sister. When it came time for her to file an application to change her name, I decided that I wanted to do the same for myself. Only, since my sister was no longer going to be going by J.J. Doe VI, I wanted to be known by that name. I have several reasons to do this. The first is that I always hated my name because of all the bullying I got for it. By the way, anyone who names their son Lindsay, you are a huge idiot. Sorry mom and dad, but you really dropped the ball there. The second was that I was always closer to my dad and dad's side of the family. My dad died when I was in my teens, so when I call myself J.J. Doe VI, I feel more closely connected with him. The third was that I didn't want to see this tradition die out. I know that it would die out eventually, but I am not ready to see this name go just yet, and I have dreams of naming my own son J.J. Doe VII one day. We really don't have that many traditions or hereditary keepsakes, so this name is something I really value. My mom and older sister both agreed that I can change my name to J.J. Doe VI. I don't know what my dad or grandfather would have thought since they died years before my sister came out. But several other relatives have been indignant about this change. Surprisingly enough, they aren't pissed at my sister for changing her name, but at me for usurping her position as the firstborn. They believe that since my sister was still the firstborn male, she should keep the name. It's bullcrap, I know. I have a few relatives who refuse to acknowledge that she changed her name for what mom, and I think, are pretty legit reasons and still call her JJ. They also think that I am a massive idiot for stealing her name and what they interpret as her birthright. So, this is going to be complicated, but am I the idiot? And if not, who is? This is all really confusing. Not the idiot. Your sister doesn't mind and is supporting you. Then the rest don't matter. They are extended incidental family and have opinions at best. They don't respect your sister enough to accept the change. And you definitely don't have to respect their opinion. Expect resistance and to be intentionally called the wrong name for, well, until the truly indignant and worthless ones pass away. She is the eldest daughter. Still firstborn. And you are the eldest son. Still secondborn. So I don't know what they are talking about. I love that you all got on the same page with no hurt feelings. I think your father and grandfather and those before them would be happy someone finds such value in continuing the history. Other family members are just noise. Let the love flow here. The only idiots here are those calling people by the wrong name intentionally. And you don't need people like that in your life. Seriously. The only person whose blessing you needed was your sister's, and you got it. It's really beautiful to me you want to pick up the family tradition to both make sure it continues and to be closer to your late dad. Honestly, I think it's a really interesting family bonding experience. I personally dropped family names to be myself, but only after the people I was honoring had passed on. I carried those names for them, now I carry my name for me. We all do what works for us personally. It means a lot to have a name that really resonates deep in your spirit. I adopted a 4-year-old cat from my brother's friend who is moving overseas next year with his family and couldn't bring the cat along. I never really talked with the previous owner because the exchange was done by my brother, so it's actually my brother who adopted the cat first before passing it to me. When I know that the cat was named Amaterasu and was to call her by her full name, it got a little awkward. I mean no offense, but of all names of gods and goddesses who the heck named their cats Amaterasu? I mean it could be cool, but imagine calling come here, Amaterasu. Or good girl, Amaterasu, the cringe. I started first shortening her name to Ama and gradually changed it to Luna. Luna get accustomed quite easily and as of now, 4 months later, she is already friends with my other 2 cats and sometimes they sleep and groom each other. When my brother learned that I've changed her name he told me that the previous owner specifically said that he would not want her name to be changed, but since Luna is a member of my family now I get to decide. He also said that it is very rude to change a pet's name etc. But again, what matters to Luna herself is to live comfortably. She doesn't care about what her name, nor shown to be any upset when she responds to Luna now. I have no idea what bothered my brother that much, but he ended up telling the previous owner about me changing Amaterasu to Luna and gave him my contact number. The previous owner had been messaging me to return the cat to him if I couldn't keep her original name. He had lost any rights when I adopted and shipped Luna, so I blocked both my brother and him and not really bothered by his threats, but am I the idiot for changing her name? My dog's original name was something similar to Netflix. Freaking Netflix. They called him Netflix at the shelter too, so we didn't change his name because he's 5+ and we thought we shouldn't. It's been almost a year and he doesn't even respond to Netflix anymore, he responds to Little N. The only time we use Netflix is at the vet and honestly it's embarrassing. Pets adjust. They learn the new sounds that make up their name and they know that's their name. If someone rehomes their pet, they lose all say. What if they said your cat only sleeps on gray cat beds, but you have a red one? You'd laugh. She's your cat. When the cat became yours, he lost rights to make decisions about it. He can't tell you what to call the cat, what collar to put on the cat, nothing. If the name mattered that much he should have found a way to take Luna with him. Also real screwed up of your brother to give your personal contact info to someone else without your permission. I'd be signing him up for spam call stuff in retaliation, but admittedly I can be petty or immature. A few of my cats have been adopted from the shelter and people know how stupid the names are that they give them. My gray fluffy boy and his black sleek brother were named Sprinkles and Sparkle. They are Zeke and Kaz now. Ahana was named by her previous owner that dumped her at the shelter while I was getting my other cat shipped. Her original name was Nimi or some such crap. Once you take possession of the animal it is yours to name whatever you want. Your brother's friend could have taken her with him but didn't want to be bothered. It's stupid for your brother and his friend to expect you to keep that awful name. Screw them both. I, 42, have a successful career and inherited a decent amount of money from my late husband. I'm nowhere close to being a millionaire, but it's enough so that, as long as I'm smart with the money, to only work because I want to by the time I hit 45. That's including any college expenses my 2 children may have in the future, so long as they go to a state college. Family knows that I have money, and while I don't mind giving a couple $100 here and there, because I know I most likely won't get it back, I draw the line at anything $400+. They know this, but that still doesn't stop them from trying, and I've always stayed firm on this. Well, once the pandemic, my brother-in-law, 35, lost his job and my sister's, 37, job have reduced her hours until further notice. 2 weeks ago I got a call from my mother asking if I could come over. I had no problem with this and swung by the next day and found my sister already there, and I could tell she had been crying. Based on the title, you all know where this is going. So with me, her and both our parents there, my sister informed me that even though her job was expected to go back to regular work hours in early 2021, there was a rumor that they would also be downsizing. She wasn't sure if her job would be secure, and brother-in-law still hasn't found any luck in getting a new job yet. I knew what they wanted and tried to play dumb at first and offered to help find brother-in-law and my sister jobs. My sister said that that was very generous me and she would take the offer, but in the meantime, what they really needed was a loan. My sister asked for at least $40,000 to help with paying off their credit card, manage the mortgage, make payments towards their student loans again, and still have some money left over in case the worst happened. I was quick to tell them that they were asking a lot from me, that while I did have some money, I didn't just have $40,000 laying around to give out on a whim. I told them I'd have to check my finances and think about it. After 2 days I started getting inquiring texts from my parents and sister and told them that I was busy this week and that I'd let them know over the weekend. I checked the numbers and it was cutting it a little close, but it was doable. However, I still didn't like the idea of just giving the money away without any reassurances that I'd get it back. I drew up a rough draft of the contract and emailed it to my sister stating that I was willing to give her money after she signed the final draft and that the money would have to be given in 3 separate installments. My family was furious, said that as the older sister it was my duty to look out for my sister in her time of need and to make her sign a contract was offensive. I countered with that since my sister has never paid me back whenever I loaned her money since the day I married my husband, I think this was more than fair. Everyone is still angry with me, so I just wanted a more neutral perspective. Am I the idiot? Even with a signed contract, you may never see that money again. In fact, I very much doubt you will. Why, you ask? They want to use part of that money to pay off credit card, which tells me they were living beyond their means. And the fact that they need $40,000 loan to handle stuff like mortgage tells me they have no emergency fund in place. 2 likely outcome if you loan her the money even if she signs a contract. 1. She doesn't repay and you have to take her to court. She doesn't repay and she file for bankruptcy. Either way, you will never see that money again. It looks like they had no intention of paying you back. I think you need to come up with a more realistic number. You don't need to pay off their student loans, especially as they might not be making enough currently to have to pay them anyway. Ask them about their mortgage and possibly organize payments directly to the provider with that written contract. Express how you're hurt by the emotional blackmail and say you feel you're being punished because you're a young widow. Your duty is to yourself and your children first.